In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can reduce your nerves and anxiety in 5 minutes, as well as sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of my 10 ways to reduce your stress levels. Hi, I'm Laura Evans, helping people like you to unleash their potential in business and life. And if this is the first time that you've found me here on YouTube, then welcome. And please be sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell so that you are notified when we release a new video every Friday. So let's face it, like me, you probably have experienced getting nervous when you've gone to do things. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 ways I think you can get your nerves and anxiety under control. But before we do, let's just have a little chat about adrenaline. Now, adrenaline is one of the most common hormones in the animal kingdom, and it is released from your brain when your fight or flight response is triggered. Stressors that cause this can be anything from jumping out of a plane, skydiving, to thinking about public speaking, social anxiety, talking to a stranger or going on a date. It could be absolutely anything. After adrenaline is secreted from your adrenal gland, don't worry too much about that, then what happens in your body is your heart will start to race, your breathing will get faster, your immune system actually gets suppressed during this phase, and also your digestive system all goes a little bit astray, and there's a whole host of other things that go on when your body is being flooded with adrenaline. Our challenge is how to combat that adrenaline, how to get it reduced back under control so that you don't feel as nervous. Now, nervousness can appear for all of us in all sorts of different ways. I remember coaching a lady once that used to really struggle with shaking hands. Now, this is totally explainable if you understand what's actually going on in the body. So when this adrenaline is being pumped through your system, it's almost like your muscles are running on hot, like they are being overworked. And there's so much energy in your system that it can actually materialize in your body physically in all sorts of ways. So for example, a nervous shake or sweaty palms, or some people say they can hear their heartbeat in their ears. These are all totally explainable and understandable when you know what's actually going on within your body and in your mind. Now, we relate to anxiety and nervousness for most of us as a feeling, but actually what we need to do is get this brain of yours to understand that actually we want to be calm. Now, there is something called the vagus nerve, and this is a two-way communication system between your body and your brain. So messages go from your brain to your body and also from your body back to your brain. So the techniques I'm going to share with you today are designed to use your body to tell your brain that actually there is no metaphorical saber-toothed tiger running around, and actually we want calm. So we're going to use our body to help us to achieve that. So tip number 1 is grounding yourself. Okay, so when your heart is racing and your breathing's all gone over the place, you've got your dry mouth, your hands are shaking, all of those things, you're getting distracted by the physiological responses that are going on in your body. I want you to ground yourself. Now, if you're sat on a chair like I am, both feet on the floor, perhaps even 2 hands on the table in front of you. And just, I always like to roll my shoulders while I'm doing it. And as you do that, just feel the ground underneath your feet. Just make sure that you're sat nice and upright. And sometimes it's helpful to close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. And just be present in the moment that you are in. Not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, just being in the now. Now, if you're stood while you're trying to ground yourself, then just make sure that you're putting your weight evenly into both feet and you're stood nice and upright. Grounding is a very well-known technique that is designed to bring you into a more mindful state. And this is one of the ways that we can tell that vagus nerve of yours to tell that brain of yours that you really want calm. Tip number 2 is peripheral vision. Now, if you followed me for a while, you'll know I did a video on this, and you'll see the link for that appear just up here or here, depending on where we put it. And you can go and learn all about peripheral vision. But here's the thing, very simply. When you are in foveal vision, which is like tunnel vision, okay, you feel negative emotions, so your nervousness and your anxiety. When you are in peripheral vision, when you're in that softer field of focus, so I'm in peripheral vision now and I can see both hands either side of my head. When you're in peripheral vision, it really dampens down negative emotions. So that nervousness and anxiety will start to subside. And if you do it for long enough, you should see a real benefit. To learn how to put yourself in peripheral vision, as I said, just go and check out that video I've already done. You'll learn exactly how to do it. Tip number 3 is breathing. Now, I would argue this is probably the most important of the 4 tips I'm sharing today. And if you check the description below and potentially up here on the screen, you'll see a link to previous videos that I've done all about breathing. There is one I've done specifically on a technique called tracing hand. And then there's another video I've done which is all about 2 breathing techniques called box breathing. And I talked about tracing hands in that one as well. So go and check them out. But what happens when you're nervous and anxious is this. You tend to breathe very high up in your chest and you tend to breathe quite quickly. Now, what happens is you often will get lightheaded. I know that's how I used to feel. I don't know about you. Maybe let me know in the comments. But I used to get quite lightheaded when I was anxious and nervous. And actually what we want to do is get this body of yours back into the state we need and telling that vagus nerve to tell that head of yours that you want to feel calm. Now, in this video, what I want to share with you is something quite special that comes from the ancient spirituality called Huna, H-U-N-A, Huna. And a lot of NLP people are also very conversant with Huna. It's an amazing, amazing spirituality. Anyway, that's for another video. But there is a particular breath that the ancient Hawaiians, which is where Huna came from, that they used to use in order to calm their system. And it's known as the earth breath. Now, what we do is this. We breathe in through the nose for a count of 4, breathing as deep into our stomach as we can. So this is what we call diaphragmatic breathing. But essentially, you want to expand that balloon in your stomach. Or just imagine that's what you're doing, right? So it's deep breathing. So in for a count of 4, momentary pause, and then slow out breath through the mouth. Now, we're aiming for the out breath to be 3 to 4 times longer. So if you're counting in for 4, maybe aim to count out for 8 or 12. Now, obviously, it might take you some time to get to that if your breathing is not great. I remember when I was in Thailand, this is going back a few years, I was talking to a lovely Thai lady and she turned around to me. She said, "The problem with you Westerners, you don't know how to breathe." I have to say, she's right. So anyway, let's get this breathing done. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So you can do it along with me. Okay, so breathing in for 4 and then out for 12. Okay, you ready? Right. I did 4 in and I did 12 out. What did you get? I hope you got somewhere close. And when you actually pushed for that 12, I really have to empty my lungs. Now, you don't want to do this too many times because you'll get lightheaded for the other reason, which is your body gets overloaded with the oxygen because it's not used to having that much oxygen in your system. But actually you can do that 2 or 3 times quite successfully, and notice how your shoulders start to drop as you do that. It's really, really good. So there's loads of different breathing exercises. Check out the video for tracing hand and box breathing, and this is the one I've just shared with you, which is called the Earth Breath, which comes from Huna. Now, the fourth and final tip I want to give you to help you get your nervousness and anxiety under control is learning to yawn. Yawn. Really, Laura? Yes, really. Now, here's the thing. You can yawn on command. It's also contagious. The more I yawn here, the more you'll probably yawn too. And it's a signal to the brain that it's time to relax and calm down. Now remember, we're using a deliberate act here to get this mind, a physical act to get this mind back into check. Now, even if you don't want to yawn, you can open your mouth as wide as possible and just try and lift the soft palate at the back of your mouth. And you can also make a yawn sound as you do it. And as I'm talking to you about yawning, I'm fighting the temptation to need to yawn. Oh dear me, it's always a problem when you talk about yawning. But yeah, it really is genuinely contagious. And it's interesting. Our fur babies, our dogs, for those of you that are dog lovers like me, they are great for studying yawns. So if you've got a dog, tonight watch the dog, right? Because here's what happens with dogs. When they have had a funny 5 minutes and they're all hyperactive and they've been running around, do you notice that towards the end of that, they start doing really big yawns, and they might do it once or twice? That's because they're releasing any remnants of the end of that energy that they no longer need, and it's an intuitive and instinctive response. I know my Rosie, who some of you will know if you follow me on social media, my Rosie does it all the time. She just yawns. So it's a natural thing to do. So why don't we attempt to use a deliberate yawn in order to send a message to our brain that it's time to relax? If you couple that with some of the other things I've talked about today, I know it's going to help you get some of these nerves back under control and reduce some of this anxiety. I really hope they work, and let me know in the comments if you use any of these and how you get on. Please tell me, because I love to hear. If you're a regular follower of ours, you'll know we reply to every single comment, and we love hearing from you. Now, hand in hand with anxiety and nervousness is often stress for people. And it's really interesting that some of these techniques for stress and nervousness and anxiety actually work dependent on, regardless rather, of the emotion that you're feeling. So I told you I'd let you know how to get your hands on my free 10 ways to reduce your stress levels. In the description below, you'll find a link where you can go and get your hands on this. And I've shared with you 10 of the ones I use that I think really, really work. And there's some breathing ones in here. There's some grounding mindfulness ones in here. And there's also a load of other NLP ones in here as well. So if you'd like a document to be able to flick through and have on hand, then that is my gift to you. Just check out the description below and you can also get your hands on that too. I hope you really enjoyed today's video, and please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed today's video, and that will ensure that you get notified every time I release a video. And if you've got a friend or member of the family that's struggling with nerves or anxiety or stress right now, please do me and them a favour by sharing this video with them. It's so easy to do, and I'd love for us to share this with more and more people. So take care. I'll see you next week.